Hello again, 7th graders. This is week 12. We're on lesson 1. In our textbook, we're on page 323, and today we're finally going to finish up topic 6, lesson 4. Ready? Let's start off with a little quiz. Based on the pie chart, what percent of water on Earth is available freshwater? A, 97%, B, 2%, C, 1%, or D, 50%. All right, so I see a picture with my question. That means that I always am going to use that picture for the question. Now, this is a picture of a pie chart. If you don't know what a pie chart looks like, it shows percentages in a circle, and it has different slices like a pie. So I'm going to go read all of the labels on our pie chart. So the title of our pie chart is Water on Earth. I see that salt water is 97% of water on Earth. Polar ice caps is 2% of water on Earth, or are 2% of water on Earth, and available fresh water is 1% of water on Earth. All right, so using that information, go back and look at the question and try to select the best answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, since the question is asking us about available fresh water only, the correct answer is 1%. So it goes to show you that most of the water on Earth is salt water. Well, that is good to know because today we're going to talk about uses of the ocean. And remember that salt water is found in the ocean, and fresh water makes up rivers, lakes, and marshes. But today we're going to talk about the ocean. All right, so using ocean water. Can we drink it? No. Humans are unable to drink salt water. Do you guys remember why? Try to think about why we can't drink salt water. And specifically think about what happens with our red blood cells. Can you picture something in your head? Can you say it out loud? Try it. All right, so drinking salt water causes water to move out of cells, and this causes dehydration. So let's talk about our red blood cells because they transport oxygen around our body. And a healthy red blood cell looks like, I say, a squished donut. It looks like a nice inflatable pool toy that you want to lay on. It's nice and puffy and firm. Well, when you drink salt water, it doesn't stay like that. Water moves out of the cell. The chemical formula for water is H2O. So with those green arrows, you're seeing water leave the cell because there's too much salt, and they will shrivel up. And when they shrivel up, they can't do their job. So these are red blood cells in salt water. And guys, if you get dehydrated too much, you can die. Okay, so on a more positive note, if humans could remove the salt from salt water, then we could use it for drinking and cooking. So the process of removing salt and minerals from ocean water is called desalination. So again, desalination is the process of removing salt and minerals from ocean water. And this is done in desalination plants. Plants is like another word for factory around the world. So this picture that we see on the right is a desalination plant in Germany. So you can see it's right on the ocean water. And they're trying to remove salt and minerals from ocean water. Now, there's going to be some cons or negatives or problems of desalination because if it was great and it had no problems and no cons, we'd all be using it, and we're really not at this point in time. So some cons and negatives of desalination are it is very, very, very expensive, okay? So some countries, some poorer countries can't afford to do this. All right, also, it takes a large amount of energy to run. And if we're using a lot of energy, this can cause pollution. So if I look at that picture of my desalination plant in Germany, and I look in the background, I can see the smokestacks. That's probably due to all the energy that it's using to power this plant. So that can pollute our earth, that can damage our air and water. So that's not very helpful. it's not the desalination plants are not the worst idea in the world. We just need to, I think, use a little more of our technology to make them more efficient and more clean. So in the future, solar power could be used to power the plants, and that will help kind of decrease the pollution. Besides using the process of desalination, which is taking out salt and minerals from ocean water to use for drinking and cooking, we can also use the ocean to fish. So the ocean can be used as a food source for humans. So from the ocean we can get seafood, and seafood is fish, it's lobster, crabs, scallops, mussels, whatever food you can kind of take out and use for nutrition. So fish and seafood are considered renewable resources because they can reproduce and make more of themselves. So it's not like we will use them all up. But there's a problem, and the problem is humans are eating fish at such a high rate, the fish cannot reproduce to replace themselves fast enough. So even though even though fish are a renewable resource, if we eat them faster than they can reproduce, then they're going to run out. So for an example, you can see the picture below is a tuna market in Japan. And tuna is one of the fish that we are currently overfishing because it tastes really good in sushi and poke bowls. It's a very delicious fish. So the demand is high, so we keep taking them out of the ocean. And they actually are pretty old fish. They can live for like 30 years. All right, so back to the lesson. Sorry, started thinking about tuna. Got a little hungry. Okay, so when we are taking the fish out at such a fast rate that they can't keep up with their own reproduction, this is called overfishing. Okay, so you can see an example. Our technology is so great that we can develop machines that can pull out fish of the ocean very fast, but that's a problem because their reproduction isn't as fast as our machines. So overfishing leads to a decrease in fish population, and this could even lead to an extinction, and an extinction means that there's no more left of the species alive. So there are more problems with overfishing besides just decreasing the population of one type of fish. Fishing boats use large nets to try to catch fish to sell and eat. So here's an example of one of those big nets, and it looks like maybe they're trying to catch cod, which is a really popular white fish. Now, these nets that they're using to catch just one type of fish like cod, the nets are not selective. This means that whatever goes into the net will be caught, even if it's not the fish they're trying to catch. So other animals can be injured or killed by the fishing nets. So here's an example of dolphins that are caught in a fishing net. Now, dolphins are not fish, they are mammals, so that means that they breathe air. So if they're underwater too long in a fishing net, they can actually drown, just like you and I would drown. So the unwanted animals caught when fishing are called bycatch. So that's when you accidentally catch something that you're not trying to fish. So here's an example of bycatch. Now this is bycatch of shrimp fishing. So I can see from that picture that there's a shark in that bycatch, and it looks like there's also some other fish that aren't shrimp. So here's an issue. So I'm trying to catch shrimp, just shrimp, and I've accidentally killed a shark and some other fish. Now, sharks are fish, and they can't live out of the water. So that shark is either really injured or dead at this point. Now, bycatch reduces other animal population. So if I look at this picture, I'm not only reducing the population of shrimp, I also reduce the population of sharks and the population of some other fish by this bycatch. So it's kind of really sad and something that we need to think about when we're buying fish that is caught in by these fishing companies in these very large nets. What other animals are being harmed in this process? All right, so that's depressing, but we need to learn about it because it's happening and it's something that we need to think about if we want to protect our oceans and fish in the future. Let's move on from this. It's at the end of the lesson, so let's end with a little quiz. The process of removing salt and minerals from ocean water is called A, detoxing, B, diffusion, C, desalty, or D, desalination. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What do you think? I'm going to get rid of detoxing because detoxing is when you remove toxins from organism or an environment, and minerals and salt are not toxins. They're not considered toxins. I'm also going to get rid of diffusion because diffusion is the process of particles moving from a high concentration to a low concentration. So it's the process of molecules spreading out. A good example of this is perfume. When a girl sprays, or a man, sprays perfume in a classroom, and all of a sudden the whole class can smell it, that's because of diffusion. Those scent particles went from high concentration inside the bottle from low concentration throughout the class, and now everybody can smell it. So what do you think the right answer is? The correct answer is desalination. Desalty I made up. But desalination is the process of removing minerals and salt, more importantly salt, from ocean water so that we can use it to drink and to eat. Okay, so it is June. I have 150% confidence in you that you guys can finish this till the end. If you are just joining us, well, welcome, and please remember that every little bit helps. Even if you're only here for the month of June and you start doing work for June, everything that you do now will make you a better 8th grader for next year and will start you on the right path. All right, guys, I will see you back here tomorrow.